Imagine you're on a dating app. You spend an hour crafting the perfect profile. You're a good guy, you're decent looking, you have a steady job, you're a catch, right? You start swiping and swiping and swiping and nothing. Crickets. You check your settings. Is the app broken? Here's a disturbing fact to start your day. Years ago, the dating site OkCupid released its internal data. It revealed a brutal statistical reality. Women on the platform rated 80% of all men as below average in attractiveness. Think about that. Statistically, that's impossible. You can't have 80% of a group be in the bottom 50%. It's like saying 80% of people are shorter than the average person. But in the world of female perception on that app, it was true. What this really means is that the vast majority of men were seen as undateable, while a tiny fraction at the top 20%, were rated as above average and received almost all of the attention. This video isn't about women are shallow or men are victims. That's lazy. This is about facing the fact that human attraction and relationships are run by a cold, ancient and often brutal operating system that most of us don't even know is running. Today we're pulling back the curtain on 8 unspoken realities about women every man must face. This isn't a red pill rant, and it's not a blue pill fantasy. This is a dose of data-driven psychological reality, and for a lot of guys it's going to be uncomfortable. But you have to face reality before you can navigate it. Let's get into it. Reality, verate. The hypergamous filter is real, and it's not what you think. You've probably heard this word whispered in dark corners of the internet, hypergamy. It's almost always used as an insult, a way to say, all women are gold diggers. The second you see a beautiful young woman with an older, less attractive but obviously wealthy man, the hypergamy sirens go off. She's just in it for the money. And look, sometimes that's true. But the gold digger narrative is a lazy, childish oversimplification of one of the most powerful and fundamental forces in human mating. Facing the real nature of hypergamy is far more terrifying and far more useful. The technical definition of hypergamy is the practice of marrying a person of a superior caste or class. But in evolutionary psychology, it's simpler. Women are, on average, wired to seek partners of equal or higher status. Now, the crucial word there is status. Our modern monkey brains immediately translate status to money. A guy with a Lamborghini and a $10 million condo. But for 99.9% of human history, status was a much more complex and vital concept. Imagine you're a woman in a small hunter-gatherer tribe 30,000 years ago. Your entire world is survival. And pregnancy and childbirth are, bluntly, a life-threatening vulnerability. For years, you're less mobile, you're a target for predators, and you're dependent on others for high-value food. Who do you choose to have a child with? Are you going to pick the nice guy who is sweet and tells good jokes, but who can't hunt, can't defend himself, and has zero social influence? The guy who, when a rival tribe attacks, is going to be the first one to get a spear in the chest? Or are you going to feel a powerful, undeniable pull toward the guy who is the best hunter? The one who is physically formidable? The one who is socially intelligent, who other men respect and listen to? The guy who demonstrates competence. Choosing the second guy isn't gold digging, it's a survival algorithm. It's a subconscious risk assessment strategy, programmed into her DNA by millions of years of brutal evolution to ensure that she and her offspring don't starve to death or get eaten by a saber-toothed cat. Fast forward to today. The saber-toothed cats are gone. The rival tribes are mostly gone. But that operating system? It's still running. It's been updated, but the core code is identical. The algorithm is still scanning for status, competence, and resources. Best Hunter has been replaced by ambition and earning potential. Physically formidable has been replaced by confidence, physical fitness, and height. Socially intelligent has been replaced by social status and charisma and a strong network. This is why study after study confirms it. A 2016 study from the University of British Columbia analysed data from the US and found that women's tendency to marry up in education and/or earnings remains prevalent. Even in countries with incredibly high gender equality like Sweden and Norway, the pattern still holds. The data scientist known as Ehler conducted a massive analysis of 1.8 million dating profiles in 2017. The findings were stark. A man's income had a dramatic and direct correlation with the number of messages he received from women. For men, a woman's income had almost zero effect on how interested they were in her. So, what's the reality to face? It's that the nice guy lament, "I'm so nice, why won't she date me?" is based on a false premise. Nice is the baseline, it's the cost of entry. It is not what drives attraction. Attraction is driven by signals of competence. She's not a gold digger because she's not interested in a man who is 30, lives in his parents' basement and has no ambition. She's hypergamous. Her ancient wiring is screaming that this man is a poor survival bet. It's not personal, it's evolutionary, which frankly might be even more insulting. The reality every man must face is that you cannot nice your way into attraction. You must demonstrate competence. You must be on an upward trajectory in some aspect of your life, your career, your fitness, your social life, your purpose. The hypergamous filter is always on, and it's asking one simple question. Is this man capable? You have to have an answer. Reality number 7, the good guy, bad boy paradox, the dual mating strategy. This is the oldest complaint in the book. It's the plot of every 90s rom-com. You're at a party, you're Steve, you've got a stable job in IT, you water your plants, you pay your taxes, and you're a really good listener. You're talking to a woman, and it's going, okay. Then Chad walks in. Sound of a subtle record scratch. Chad has a leather jacket, a vague musician job description, and a look in his eye that says he's definitely been in a fistfight in the last 6 months. He doesn't listen. He smirks. He's cocky. And just like that, her attention snaps to him, like a moth to a very, very dysfunctional flame. Steve throws his hands up. What the hell? She said she wanted a nice guy. She said she was tired of jerks. She's lying. No, she's not lying. But she is conflicted. And that conflict has a name. The dual mating strategy. This is a real, documented concept in evolutionary psychology, and it's a mind-bender. It suggests that women, subconsciously, are often juggling 2 different shopping lists for a partner. List A, the good provider, the nice guy. This is the long-term partner list. This is Steve. The woman's conscious brain, the one that has to pay rent and thinks about having kids, is looking for signals of high investment. Is he reliable? Is he kind? Is he willing to commit? Does he have good financial prospects? This is the man you build a life with. He's the good dad material. As legendary evolutionary psychologist Dr. David Buss found in his groundbreaking study of 37 cultures, women universally valued good financial prospects and ambition, good provider traits, far more than men did. This is the guy she says she wants, and she means it. But then, there's List B, the good genes, the bad boy. This is the short-term attraction list. This is Chad. This part of her brain isn't thinking about 30-year mortgages. It's running a much older program. It's looking for signals of high genetic fitness. Is he physically attractive? Symmetry, masculinity. Is he socially dominant? Is he confident? Does he show indicators of high testosterone? These traits, the swagger, the confidence, the physical presence, are subconscious indicators that this male has good genes. Genes that are strong, healthy, and would produce attractive, successful offspring. Here's the problem. In the real world, good genes and good provider often don't come in the same package. The guy who's a charming, dominant, high testosterone bad boy, good genes, is often also more likely to be promiscuous, unreliable, and unwilling to commit, bad provider. The guy who is a stable, kind, reliable, nice guy, good provider, often, not always, but often, lacks that edge of social dominance and raw confidence, bad genes. This is the paradox. Her brain is torn between what it wants for the short term, good genes, and what it needs for the long term, good provider. And here's where it gets really weird. Multiple studies have shown that this preference can shift depending on where a woman is in her hormonal cycle. A famous 2012 study published in Psychological Science by Cristina Durante et al. Found that women who were ovulating at their peak fertility were more likely to be attracted to sexy, charismatic, but unreliable men. When they were most fertile, their brains literally started to see the bad boy as a better father, even when all the objective evidence said he'd be a terrible one. As the study authors put it, ovulation may be leading women to perceive that the sexy cad possesses traits that he does not. When fertile, women see the sexy cad as a good dad. It's a biological con job. Her hormones are tricking her brain into thinking the high-risk, high-reward genetic stock, Chad, is actually a safe investment, Steve. So, what's the reality a man must face? First, that it's not in your head. The good guy, bad boy dynamic is a real biological conflict. Second, the nice guy who finishes last isn't just nice. He's only nice. He's signalling nothing from list B. He's perceived as a good provider, but not as having good genes. He's seen as reliable, but not desirable. The bad boy is the opposite. He's all good genes, no good provider. He's desirable, but not reliable. The ultimate high-value man, the man who wins, is the one who can signal both. He has the good provider traits. He has a purpose, he's ambitious, he's reliable. And he has the good genes traits. He's confident. He has boundaries, he's not a doormat. He's physically fit, he can lead. You don't have to be a jerk to win, but you do have to stop being just a nice guy. Alright, that's a heavy start. We're only 2 in, and we're already rewriting the rom-com script in your head. It's not as simple as be yourself, is it? We've got 6 more realities to go, and they only get more uncomfortable from here. We're going to talk about the friend zone, the real nature of female aggression, and the one thing that men never seem to talk about, the mental load. If you're finding this valuable, and if you're brave enough to hear the rest, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We unpack uncomfortable truths here, and you don't want to miss what's next. Also, let me know in the comments, have you ever been Steve in the Steve versus Chad scenario? Let's talk about it. Welcome back. If you're still here, it means you're not afraid of the truth. And the truth is, most of what we're told about attraction is at best a polite fiction. We've talked about the brutal math of hypergamy and the biological civil war of the dual mating strategy. Now we're heading into territory that every nice guy knows by heart. We're talking about the place where good intentions and sexual attraction go to die. We're talking about the friend zone. Reality number 6. The friend zone is a decision, not a location. Let's paint a picture. You know this picture. It's 1:07 a.m. on a Tuesday. You're in your car in a parking lot or maybe just on your couch with your phone pressed to your ear. And you're listening. She's crying. Not a full-on sob, but that exhausted, sniffly crying. And she's talking about him. I just don't understand, she says, her voice cracking. He'll text me for 3 days straight and then he just disappears. He said he liked me, but then I saw him at the bar and he was all over her. Why do I always go for such jerks? You, being the good guy, deploy the script. He's an idiot, you say, with just the right amount of protective anger. You don't deserve this. You're amazing. You're smart. You're funny. Any guy would be lucky to have you. There's a pause. You can hear her take a breath. Oh, thank you, she says, and her voice is full of genuine warmth. You're just the best. You're like a brother to me. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're my best friend. And there it is. The F word. Friend. The B word. Brother. Congratulations, my man. You've just been knighted Sir Jorah Mormont, Lord of the Friend Zone. You are the emotional janitor, the unpaid support specialist. You are the guy she calls to complain about the guys she's actually sleeping with. The common male fantasy, the lie we tell ourselves, is that the friend zone is a waiting room. We think, if I just stay here long enough, if I'm just supportive and kind and present, one day she'll have an epiphany. One day she'll get tired of all the chads and she'll look at me and a light bulb will go off. She'll realise it's you, it's always been you. Gentlemen, that is a lie. That is the plot of a movie, not the reality of human psychology. The unspoken reality is this: the friend zone is not a waiting room. It's a rejection. It's a polite, kind, and socially acceptable rejection, which is what makes it so confusing. But it is a rejection nonetheless. It is a categorical decision that she has made, and it was almost certainly made in the first 5 minutes of meeting you. Researchers call this thin slicing. A 2006 study led by psychologist Nalini Ambedi at Tufts University found that people make incredibly accurate judgments about others, including their personality, status, and yes, their attractiveness, within seconds, not hours, not weeks, seconds. Attraction is not a logical process. It's not a spreadsheet. It's not a debate you can win by presenting a list of your good guy credentials. It is a rapid, visceral pass-fail test. It's a yes or a no. And the friend zone is just the nice way of saying no. So why does it happen? And why does she keep you there? This is where the dark, uncomfortable truth comes in. You're there because you're useful. Go back to our dual mating strategy. Chad gives her good genes, desire, excitement, attraction, but is a bad provider, unreliable, no commitment, no emotional support. You, Sir Jorah, are offering to be the good provider, emotional support, reliability, validation, free dinners, without her having to feel any of the good genes, attraction, desire for you. You have let her split the dual strategy into two different men. She gets her bad boy to fulfill her desire, and she gets you to fulfill her emotional needs. You're not a romantic prospect. You're an emotional resource, and the hardest part of this reality to face is that it is 100% your fault. You put yourself in the friend zone. You put yourself there by not being clear with your intent, by being indirect, by believing that friendship was a secret side door to a relationship. You were dishonest. You didn't want to be her friend. You wanted to be her boyfriend, but you were too afraid of overt rejection, so you chose a strategy of proximity. You thought you could nice your way into her pants. This makes you untrustworthy to her subconscious. She can feel that your kindness has an agenda. This lack of direct, confident intent is the very definition of low-status, non-dominant behaviour. It is the opposite of attractive. The reality to face is that the only way to avoid the frenzied one is to risk rejection. You must be clear, you must be direct, and you must have the confidence to walk away if the answer is no. You cannot orbit her, hoping she'll change her mind. You have to be willing to lose the friendship to ever have a chance at the relationship. That is the paradox, and 90% of nice guys are terrified to make that choice. Reality 5. Female aggression is covert, not overt, and far more dangerous. When we think of aggression, we think of male behaviour. Sound of a bar fight, glass breaking, shouting, a punch landing. It's overt, it's physical, it's public. Two guys get in a fight at a bar, punches are thrown, one guy gets a black eye, and 20 minutes later, they might be buying each other a Sorry Mate beer. It's a primate dominance display. It's stupid, it's messy, but it's honest. The threat is visible. Men are completely, utterly, and dangerously unprepared for female aggression. Because female aggression, on average, evolved under a different set of rules. For 99% of human history, as we've established, a woman's physical safety was paramount. Getting into a physical fight was a catastrophically bad survival strategy. An injury could be a death sentence for her or her offspring, so evolution favoured a different kind of weapon, a smarter weapon, a weapon that could destroy an opponent without ever laying a finger on them. The unspoken reality is this: the primary weapon of female aggression is not the fist, it's the social network. It's not physical, it's relational. This is a well-documented field of study. Psychologists, starting in the 1990s with researchers like Kai Björkqvist from Finland, began to seriously study this. They call it relational aggression or covert aggression. Its purpose is not to cause physical harm. Its purpose is to destroy someone's reputation, their social standing, and their relationships. Think about it. In that hunter-gatherer tribe, if a woman could get the rest of the tribe to ostracize another woman, that woman was, for all intents and purposes, dead. She would have no protection, no access to shared food, and no viable mates. Relational aggression is social murder, and it is brutal. And it never went away. It just adapted. In high school, we call it Mean Girls. Use a Mean Girls quote. You can't sit with us. It's the burn book. It's the strategic spreading of rumours. It's the silent treatment. It's excluding someone from the group and making sure they know they're being excluded. In the workplace, it's even more dangerous. It's the accidental CCing of a boss on a minor mistake you made. It's the backhanded compliment in a meeting. Wow, it's so brave of you to present this, especially after the last project didn't go so well. It's the quiet, I'm not trying to cause trouble, but I just have concerns about his tone with female colleagues dropped to HR. In a relationship, it's the weaponization of disappointment. It's the I'm fine that is clearly not fine. It's the plausible deniability. What? I'm not mad. I just... nothing. Forget it. It's a test you are guaranteed to fail. Men are blind to this. Why? Because we are wired to look for overt aggression. We're looking for the punch. We're not looking for the whisper. A man will hear a backhanded compliment and often take it, at face value. He doesn't process the subtext, the intent to undermine him in front of his peers. A guy will be in a group and suddenly his female boss or partner will make a joke at his expense. It's a little too sharp, a little too personal. The other women in the group will laugh, a little too hard. The men will just look confused. That joke wasn't a joke. It was a social compliance test. It was a way to publicly, but deniably, put him back in his place and lower his status. It was a covert dominance display. This is why men are often completely blindsided by breakups, by being fired, or by being cancelled. They had no idea they were even in a fight. They were looking for the boxing match, while their opponent was poisoning the well and convincing the entire village they were the bad guy. The reality to face is that you must learn to read the subtext. You must understand that in many conflicts with women, not all, but many, the text of the argument, you never take out the trash, is not the real argument. The real argument is about status, respect, and emotional security. And you must understand that the most dangerous female conflicts are the ones you can't see, the ones fought in whispers, in group chats you're not in, and in anonymous complaints. Men's aggression is a hammer. It's loud and it breaks things. Female aggression is a cancer. It's silent, it's cellular, and by the time you find the lump, it's often too late. You have to start paying attention to the subtext. We've talked about the front end of relationships: attraction, dating, the bad boy paradox, the friend zone. We've talked about the dark, hidden battles of social aggression. Now we're going to talk about the long game. We're going to talk about what happens after you get the girl, because this is where the real unspoken realities live. This is where most men, good men, catastrophically fail, and they don't even know why. This next one is the #1 attraction killer in long-term relationships. It's not infidelity. It's not growing apart. It's a box of cereal. Reality 4. The unbearable weight of the mental load. Picture this scene. It's 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. You've just gotten home from work. It was a brutal day, A project is on fire, your boss is a moron, and the traffic was hell. You're drained. You collapse on the couch, pull out your phone, and finally get a second to just decompress. You've earned this. Your wife or girlfriend is also home from her job, but she's not decompressing. She's moving. She's a blur of stressed out efficiency. She's stirring a pot of pasta with one hand, checking a kid's homework with the other, and simultaneously making a mental note that you're almost out of paper towels. Her jaw's tight. She looks like a time bomb. You, being a good guy and not a total idiot, sense the tension. You look up from your phone and, with the best of intentions, you say the single worst thing you could possibly say in that moment. "Hey babe, you seem stressed. What can I do to help?" The look she gives you could freeze steam. It's a look of pure, unadulterated rage. She snaps. "What can you do? I'm not your manager. Do I have to tell you everything? Can't you just look around and see what needs to be done? I'm so tired." And boom, you're in a massive fight. You're completely baffled. You're thinking, what the hell? I offered to help. I'm trying to be a good partner, and I get punished for it? She's crazy. No, she's not crazy. She's just exhausted. Because the unspoken reality is this. You didn't offer to help. You asked her to manage you. You were asking her to take on yet another job, the role of project manager for a baffled husband. This is the mental load. It's an immensely important concept, and it's one that men are dangerously blind to. The mental load is the unpaid, invisible, 24/7, 365-day job of managing a household. It is not the doing of the chores, it is the remembering of the chores. You think the chore is taking out the trash. She knows the chore is noticing the trash is full, remembering to buy more trash bags when the box is running low, knowing that trash day is Tuesday and recycling is every other Thursday, remembering that this Thursday is the recycling day, finally taking the bin to the curb. Your help is just step 5. She's doing steps 1 through 4 all day, every day, for everything. She's the one who's remembering the dentist, appointments, the dog's heartworm pill, your mother's birthday card, the fact that the kids' shoes are too small and that you're running low on olive oil. It's a second shift of cognitive labour. This isn't some feeling she has. This is a documented sociological phenomenon. Sociologist Ali Hochschild wrote about it in her 1989 book, The Second Shift. She studied dual-income couples and found that women came home from their full-time paid job to immediately start their second, unpaid job of managing the house and kids, while the men mostly relaxed. It got so famous that a French cartoonist named Emma drew a comic about it in 2017 called You Should Have Asked. It went viral and was translated into a dozen languages because millions of women looked at it and said, That is my life. It shows the woman as the default full-time manager of the home and the man as a part-time, well-meaning, but ultimately clueless assistant. An assistant who has to be told what to do. Now here's the dark humour part. Men are masters of what's called weaponized incompetence. Sound of a man's voice sheepishly. "Oh, I'd love to do the laundry, honey, but I just don't know how. I always shrink things. I'd make dinner, but I'm just a terrible cook. You're so much better at it. I don't know which brand of yogurt the kids like. I'll just get the wrong one. Oh, really? You can quarterback a $5 million project at work. You can memorize the stats of a 40-player fantasy football roster. You can field strip a rifle, but you're baffled by a Maytag washer or the grocery store. It's a subconscious, or sometimes very conscious strategy to force her to take the task back. It's just easier if I do it myself, she thinks. And boom, you're off the hook. Here's the reality every man must face. The mental load is the number one killer of desire in a long-term relationship. Every time she has to remind you to do something you said you would do, every time she has to delegate a task to you, like you're her employee, every time you weaponize your incompetence, she feels a tiny bit less like your lover and a tiny bit more like your mother. And let me be crystal clear, nobody wants to sleep with their mum. The solution? You have to move from being a passive helper to an active owner. Don't ever say, "What can I do to help?" again. Instead, look, see, think. Then say, "Babe, I see that the trash is full, the recycling is piling up, and the dishwasher is clean. I'm going to empty the dishwasher, take out the trash, and break down those Amazon boxes right now." Better yet, own a domain. From now on, I am the Chief Operating Officer of Groceries and Kitchen Supplies. You never have to think about toilet paper or olive oil again. That's my job. That is partnership. That is what it means to be a man. And that is actually, surprisingly, very attractive. Because if you don't, it leads directly to our next and most terrifying reality. Reality 3, the Epiphany Phase, and why she's already gone. Let's start with a statistic, a terrifying statistic. According to multiple studies, including data from the American Sociological Association, women initiate almost 70% of all divorces. In some demographics, like college-educated women, that number climbs as high as 90%. Now go to any bar, any guy's poker night, and you'll hear the same story from a recently divorced man. It's always the same story. I don't get it, man. It came out of nowhere. I was completely blindsided. We were fine. We just bought a new couch. We just took that vacation to Cabo last month. Everything was normal. And then, last Tuesday, she sits me down. She won't look me in the eye and she says, "I'm not happy." She says, "I'm done. I don't love you anymore." And I don't think I have for years. This man is in shock. He's devastated. He thinks this is a sudden decision. He thinks it's a midlife crisis. He thinks, "We can fix this. Let's go to therapy. I'll change. I'll help more." Here is the unspoken, brutal reality. He's wrong. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't out of nowhere. He's trying to save a marriage that in her mind has been dead for 3 years. He's the last person to find out his relationship ended. This is the Epiphany Phase, or the walk-away wife syndrome. It is the catastrophic and silent consequence of ignoring things like the mental load, reality Aspera 4, and covert aggression, reality Aspera 5. It's a long, slow, internal process for her. The man is completely unaware of it. It goes something like this. Phase 1, the dissatisfaction. This is where it starts. It's the mental load problem. She feels like she's doing everything. She feels alone, unappreciated, and more like a manager than a partner. Phase 2, the hinting phase. She doesn't want a divorce, she wants a partner, so she tries to communicate, but she often uses covert communication. She jokes about it. "You'd starve without me." She sighs, a lot. She uses the passive-aggressive "I'm fine" reality in year 5. She's transmitting her dissatisfaction, but he's not receiving. He's not reading the subtext. He just thinks she's in a mood. Phase 3, the direct phase. The hints fail. So she tries being direct. This is the big talk. "I'm not happy. I'm doing everything around here. I feel like you don't even see me." This is the fight that the guy hates. It's emotional. It's messy. So, to end the conflict, he makes promises. "You're right. I'm sorry. I'll change. I'll help more. I'll do better." Phase 4, the false hope phase. And he does. For 2 weeks. He's super helpful. He does the dishes without being asked. He takes out the trash. He's trying. But here's the fatal error. He's complying to stop the conflict. He's not changing because he understands the root problem. After 2 weeks, the emergency is over, and he slowly, subconsciously, reverts right back to his old, passive, helper self. Phase 5, the epiphany, the point of no return. She watches him revert, and this is when the switch flips. A cold, hard, and terrible realization hits her. Oh, he didn't just forget. He heard me. He knew how much pain I was in, and he just doesn't care enough to actually change. He will never change, and I cannot live like this for another 30 years. This is the moment the marriage dies. It's over. Phase 6. The planning phase. She is now done. The love is gone. The resentment has curdled into apathy, and apathy is the opposite of love, not hate. And guess what? She stops fighting. The blindsided guy mistakes this new calm for peace. He thinks, "Phew, we're past that rough patch. We're good again." He is catastrophically wrong. This isn't peace. This is detachment. She's not fighting with him anymore because you don't fight with someone you've already broken up with in your head. You manage them. She's now quietly talking to a lawyer. She's opening a separate bank account. She's getting her ducks in a row. She's waiting for the kids to finish the school year. She's building her exit strategy. And this is where it gets really dark. This is the branch swinging phase you hear about. Because she is now emotionally single, she may start subconsciously looking for her next branch. That harmless friendship with the work husband suddenly gets a lot more emotionally intimate. She's securing her next landing spot before she lets go of the current vine, the reality every man must face. Your relationship is not on autopilot. It is a living thing that requires constant active maintenance. The absence of fighting does not mean the presence of happiness. It can often mean the opposite. She has given up. You must be the one to initiate the hard conversations. You have to stop being a passive roommate. You have to genuinely care about her mental load. You have to listen to her complaints, not as criticism, but as a diagnostic for the health of your relationship. Because by the time she sits you down and surprises you with those divorce papers, you're not at the beginning of a problem. You're at the public announcement of its conclusion. All right, you're still here. This is the deep end of the pool. We've talked about the what, the brutal math of attraction, the paradoxes of mating, the hidden horrors of the friend zone, the silent aggression, the unbearable mental load, and the walk-away wife syndrome that it causes. Now we have to talk about the why. Why do men and women seem to be living in two completely different parallel universes? Why do his best intentions always seem to be the wrong answer? It's because, in a very real way, you're in different universes, and this is the reality that, if you don't face it, will make all the other problems 100 times worse. Reality 2. Her reality is not your reality. The Great Empathy Chasm. Let's play a game of what if. You're a single guy, you're at a bar, it's loud, it's crowded. You see a woman across the room. She's beautiful. Your heart does that stupid little kick. And now, the agony begins. Your internal monologue is a storm of fear, calculation, and self-doubt. Okay, what's the plan? Should I go over? What do I even say? God, I hate this. What if she's with someone? What if she just looks at me like I'm disgusting? Her friends are right there. They'll all see it. They'll all laugh. Man, I'm already sweating. This is awful. Maybe I'll just wait. What is the core of this fear? It is social rejection. It is public humiliation. It is a deep, primal, male fear of being judged as not good enough by the tribe. It's a fear of shame. But you summon your courage. You're a man. You walk over, you tap her on the shoulder, you say, "Hey, Now. Let's rewind 30 seconds and play the scene from her perspective. She's out with her friends. She's just trying to have a good time and dance. She feels someone looking at her. She always feels it. She's been feeling it since she was 13. Her internal monologue is not, "I wonder if that guy is nice." Her internal monologue is a threat assessment. Okay, that guy in the corner has been staring for 10 minutes. Is he just looking? Or is he weird? He seems kind of intense. Now he's getting up. He's walking over. Crap. Okay, look at my friends. Don't make eye contact. Maybe he'll walk past. Nope. He's here. He's tapping my shoulder. Okay, deep breath. How do I get rid of this guy without making him angry? Is he drunk? Is he aggressive? Where's the bouncer? I wish he'd just leave me alone. What is the core of her fear? It is physical danger. It is a deep, primal, female fear of being cornered, harassed, or hurt. It's a fear of safety. You are afraid of shame. She is afraid of danger. You are worried about your ego. She is worried about her life. This is the Great Empathy Chasm. It is the fundamental, unspoken, and massive gap in perspective between the masculine and feminine experience. It's not that women are solipsistic, a word the internet loves. It's that all humans are solipsistic. We are all trapped inside our own subjective experience, but the nature of that experience is profoundly different. This gap is everywhere. When you're walking to a car at night, you might be on alert, but you're probably just thinking about your keys. She has her keys between her knuckles and is actively scanning for threats. When you have sex for the first time, your primary fear is performance. Will I be good enough? Will I last? Will she be impressed? Your anxiety is about your ego. Her primary fear is consequences. Is he safe? Is he clean? Will he get me pregnant and leave? Will he be a psycho tomorrow? Her anxiety is about her security. When you argue about money, you, as the man, often feel the crushing weight of provision. If I lose my job, I lose my identity. I have failed as a man. I am worthless. You see your 60-hour work week as an act of love and sacrifice. She, on the other hand, often experiences that 60-hour work week as an act of abandonment. She feels the terror of insecurity. He's never here. I'm all alone with the kids, the mental load number 4. What if something happens to him? We are vulnerable. Here's the walk-away wife, number 3 argument again, but through this lens. Him shouting. I was at the office for us. I was breaking my back so you could have this house. I sacrificed everything. Her crying. I didn't want the house. I wanted a husband. I was alone. You were never present. Who is right? Both of them. They are both 100% correct, from within their own reality. He is speaking the male language of love, provision. She is speaking the female language of love, presence. And they are both completely failing to understand the other's language. He thinks she's ungrateful for his sacrifice. She thinks he's a cold workaholic who doesn't care. The reality every man must face. You must stop assuming she sees the world as you do. You must accept that her primary operating system is often filtered through a lens of security and connection, while yours is filtered through a lens of status and performance. She's not crazy or illogical for not inherently understanding your fear of failure, and you're not stupid for not inherently understanding her fear of abandonment. You're from different planets. The only solution is to become a translator. You have to learn her language. You have to stop just providing and start connecting. You have to validate her fears. I understand you feel alone when I work this much. Before you can explain your reality, I feel like if I don't, I'm failing us. Until you can bridge that chasm, you're just two people shouting at each other from opposite sides of a canyon. Reality 1. Attraction is not a choice, and you can't negotiate it. This is it. This is the one. This is the master reality that all the other realities plug into. It is the single most uncomfortable, most painful, and most liberating truth a man will ever face. The biggest lie we were ever told by our parents, by our teachers, by every Disney movie, is that what matters is on the inside, that beauty is skin deep, that she'll like you if you're just yourself. This is a beautiful, comforting, and profoundly destructive lie. Here is the unspoken reality. Attraction is not a decision. It is a biological reaction. It is not a choice. It is a reflex. It is not a dimmer switch that you can slowly, logically turn up by being nice, by buying her gifts, or by friend-zoning yourself, number 6, and hoping she'll have an epiphany. It's a light switch, a breaker. It is either on or it is off, and that switch is flipped by her primal 30,000-year-old brain in the first 5 seconds. You cannot negotiate with this switch. You cannot persuade it. You cannot present a PowerPoint presentation of your good qualities and convince her to flip it. This is why the OkCupid data from the intro was so brutal. The 80% of men rated below average. That wasn't a logical decision. It was a primal one. It was millions of women's ancient good genes algorithm, the 7, running a scan and returning a no. It's not fair, it's not just, it's not nice. It is biology. She's not in control of it. A woman can be cognitively aware that you are a great guy. She can know, logically, that you're stable, kind, and would make an amazing good provider. But if that primal light switch is off, it's off. She cannot force herself to feel it, any more than you can force yourself to be sexually attracted to a woman you find viscerally unattractive. You can't. You can respect her, you can admire her, you can love her as a friend, but you don't want her. That is how she feels about the friend zone guy. So what does flip the switch? What is the good genes algorithm actually scanning for? It's scanning for indicators of health, testosterone, and status. This is the part that makes men angry. Yes, height matters. Study after study confirms it. It's a primal signal of strength and dominance. Yes, facial structure matters. A strong jaw, a prominent brow ridge. These are literal billboards for testosterone. Yes, your physique matters. The V-tapers, broad shoulders, narrow waist. This is the physical signature of a healthy, formidable male. Yes, your vibe matters. This is the big one. Your confidence, your boundaries, the lack of neediness, the sense that you have a purpose and ambition. Hypergamy for 8. Now, a lot of men hear this and they throw up their hands. So that's it. I'm 5'8" and I don't have a model's jaw. I'm screwed. This is all black pill doom and nonsense. No, that is the loser's takeaway. That is the victim's excuse. Here is the final reality every man must face. This is not doom. This is the rule book. You have just been handed the rule book to a game you've been losing because you thought being nice was the only rule. You can't change your height. You can't change your facial bones, but you can 100% absolutely undeniably change your physique. Get in the gym, stop being skinny fat, build muscle, your grooming, get a decent haircut, wear clothes that actually fit. Your ambition, have a mission in your life that is more important than chasing women. Your confidence, this comes from competence, get good at what you do. Your boundaries, this is the cure to the friend zone. Have the self-respect to walk away from a no. The nice guy strategy is to try and compensate for a lack of good genes or desirability by overdosing on good provider, niceness. It never works. The winning strategy, the only strategy, is to build yourself into the man who has both. You become the man who is kind, respectful and reliable, good provider, and you're physically fit, confident, ambitious and have strong boundaries, good genes. That is the man who wins. He is not a bad boy. He's not a nice guy. He is a strong man. He is a high-value man. The ultimate reality is that you cannot change the game. You cannot complain about the rules until they change. You can only get better. And that's the list. Let's do a quick recap. Number 8. The hypergamous filter is real. It's not gold digging, it's a primal search for competence and status. Number 7. The good guy's bad boy paradox. Women are torn between good genes, desire, and good provider, security. You must become both. Number 6. The friend zone is a rejection. You put yourself there by being indirect and failing to show intent. Number 5. Female aggression is covert. You're looking for a boxing match, but the real fight is social and reputational. Number 4. The mental load. Stop being a helper and start being an owner. or she'll stop being your lover and start being your mother. Number 3, the Epiphany Phase. The divorce wasn't sudden. You just missed the 1,000 covert signals she was sending for years. Number 2, her reality is not your reality. You're afraid of shame. She's afraid of danger. You speak provision. She speaks presence. You must learn to translate. Number 1, attraction is not a choice. It's a biological reflex. You cannot negotiate it. You can only build yourself into the man who triggers it. So, what's the point of all this? Is the goal to make you angry? To make you black-pilled and bitter? To make you hate women? Absolutely not. Bitterness is a loser's game. Bitterness is the excuse you give yourself for giving up. The entire point of this video is the exact opposite. It's to hand you the rulebook. Look, you can stand on the side of a football field in your regular clothes, screaming that the rules are unfair. You can yell, "Why do they get to tackle? Why do I have to get the ball to that specific part of the field? Why can't I just walk it in? This is a stupid game." You can do that, and you will lose 100 times out of 100. Or you can face reality. You can read the rulebook. You can learn the rules. You can put on the pads, get in the gym, practice the plays, and learn to love the game. The realities we just talked about are not a prison. They are your liberation. They free you from the nice guy confusion. They free you from wondering why what you're doing isn't working. They show you the path. The path is not to be a jerk. The path is not to be a doormat. The path is to be strong, to be competent, to be ambitious, to have boundaries, to listen to the subtext, to take ownership. The path is quite simply to become the best, most high-value, most respectable version of yourself. These are the unspoken rules, and now you know them. What you do with them is up to you. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a heavy one. If this video resonated with you and you're ready to learn more, I highly recommend you check out our other videos on our channel. This was a beast. Thanks for sticking with me. We'll see you in the next one.